That was pretty cool. Hey! Bradley's smoking nice. So I put a split ring on it, you see that? So this year, there was 3 bucks in particular I was looking for. This buck right here is called Cheater, and I saw him off and on throughout the summer. Pretty nice buck. He had a distinctive way his brow tines laid out, and he had this extra point in front of his G2. Then this buck came along and I fell in love with this deer. I called him the G2 sticker buck because he has a big sticker point off the back of his G2. He also had like an extra beam with a couple points sticking out off the base of his right antler. And his right brow tine was split too. He was an awful nice deer. There was one buck I had seen last year I called the Tank as well, but he's really just mythical status. Never did see him again since last year. So the start of my deer hunt, it was 25 below like 3 days in a row. And I gotta wear so darn much clothing that I have to put it on out in my garage. My garage is not heated. If I put it on in the house, I'd be too hot. So I start with just a pair of long johns, and then these are the polypropylene long johns. Go over top of that, then put a pair of wool socks on. Pull them up right up over both pairs of long johns to hold them in place. And here comes a second pair of these big heavy fleece winter like super warm socks. Another pair of fleece pants. Second pair of fleece pants. Turtleneck. And this is my super lucky, just old. It's the old as the hills lucky shirt. Goes on. Depending on the day, I layer these in different orders too, right? So now I got putting on a white fleece shirt. Oh, grabbing the batteries. The batteries, that spare batteries for my camera have to go into my pant pocket of my fleece pants so that they're in under, so they stay warm. Otherwise the batteries just get killed by the cold. Big heavy gray sweater. Then I put these, they're cut off old socks that go over my wrists. Now the big pair of camo pants, suck them on tight. I have the matching jacket for those pants. You can see it on the table. Sorel Snow Bear boots. They're 20 or 25 years old, size 14. It's so hard to keep your feet warm out in the cold when she's 25 below. Those are about the best boots I've found. Well, they are the best boots I've found. Still looking for the perfect winter boot to this cold deer hunting. Got to tuck them in. Got to tuck all those fleece pants right into the boot, then the pant gets pulled down over the boot. Time to go get the truck running. Anyway, that's how I dress to handle 25 below. This morning it's only minus 18, it's actually pretty warm, but even so, my style of hunting, I sit in the one spot. Yesterday I stayed in one location from 8 in the morning till 5:30 at night. One spot. You gotta be warm. Go get the truck on. It's Saturday morning, November 6th. It's day 1 of my 2022 whitetail hunt. I'm kind of on a scouting trip today. I thought I was going to walk in the bush,
but there was snow overnight, and all the evergreens are just covered in snow, and it's thick. See all the snow on the trees? That's one reason why I'm not walking in the bush. You wouldn't be able to walk in there without just getting covered in snow. If a guy walked in there, he'd just get freaking covered with snow. So for now, I'm watching a cut line, and I'm very much playing it by ear. As to where I'll end up today, I don't know. But I will stay in this general area. Probably do a little bit of a walkabout, mooch around. There are some large, fresh buck tracks that come down the trail from heading that way. And because of the way it snowed overnight, I know the tracks are, only a few hours old. Actually, on the way in here, there was a really big buck in the ditch on the highway with a doe. I'm not going to shoot him on the highway, but I did a spinorama just to take a look at him. It's a pretty impressive buck that he beetled, and I wasn't interested in hunting him anyway, so I just left him alone. Anyway, we were like 8 o'clock in the morning, I guess. Just legal shooting. Well, no, it's been legal shooting for half an hour. But it's legal sunrise right now. It's November 8th. It's minus 23 this morning. Heading out deer hunting. It's November 8th. Just a gorgeous day. Sitting on a power line. There's fresh tracks just all over the place in here. It snowed all day yesterday, so I was out here yesterday. So when I walked in, everywhere you went there was fresh deer tracks. Up and down the line, crisscrossing the line. So far I've seen one doe, one small buck. That's it. And I didn't bother bringing the camera out to try to film them. It wasn't really worth it. Nice to see that little buck. He's traveling around with his nose to the ground. That's a nice thing to see.
So at the start of my hunt, I actually was kind of going back and forth between 3 different spots. I tried rattling, as you can see. Here I'm on just a pipeline. I did see some deer in this spot. I saw 5 deer in a couple days. Just the one little buck though. If you're in this country, there's big bucks. You just got to be lucky that one walks out when you're there, right? So beside rattling, I also tried some grunting and fooled around with a whitetail, estrus, bleat call. That's what I'm doing here. I was on a nice vantage point. Again, looking down this is a gas pipeline this time. A lot of deer tracking. A lot of bucks traveling through this country. This country right here is the country where the cheater buck and the G2 sticker buck were traveling all the time. And obviously that's why I'm over here, right? Looking for those deer. Disclaimer time. You see the following sequences. I'm sitting on a knoll overlooking a road. This is a private, gated road with no exit, so it's one way in, one way out. Employees of the company are the only people allowed access, which I'm an employee of this company. This is why I'm allowed to get in here. And then the gate's locked behind me, so that's what's going on here. It's perfectly safe. There's no other people in here. Anyway, the following sequence is I got a bunch of different videos of some deer here. I didn't bother including all the videos of the does. I had a whole bunch of them. And then I just thought, well, they're not really adding anything to this. This little buck here that you just see, he is pretty interesting. He came up the trail, and he cuts in right across the road from me. He's like 40 yards away from me, and he was looking up the road. And you know, when I first saw the way he was acting, I thought he was alerting to me, but what he was actually looking at was there was a doe and fawn up the road, which I didn't see, of course, because I'm watching him, so I'm only looking the one direction. Well, he's looking at the doe and fawn. And that's what he was looking at here. Anyway, he's just a little deer, not one I'm going to shoot, so I videotaped him, and then right about here is when I finally clue in. Well, what's he looking at? Well, that's when I realized, he's not looking at me, right? So I finally turned, and when I turned and looked up the road, then he boogers off here. Anyway, enjoy the following sequences. There's a few bucks here that you'll see. There was one 5-pointer that I saw multiple times, and I actually include a trail cam video of him, so you can really see him up close and just see what it was he looked like, and you can see kind of why I passed him up, because he's a young deer, right? This buck that comes out here, he's just a little 2-pointer or 3-pointer. Comes out of the bush and across the road.
Oh, sorry, that's a little.
Keep on going. This is the 5-pointer I was talking about. Nice young buck.
That's not a shooter.
Be good in a couple of years.
There we go. Look at this. Big set of cat traps. Use. Direction is he headed. He's headed that way. He's headed out of this bush that I was in. You see the direction the snow is chased in front of those? Look at the stride on that cat. From rear footprints to the front. That'd be that big Tom, probably. Those are fresh. Those tracks weren't here this morning. Huh. Alright. That's just a little November 13, leaving the bush. And what do we run into but a big old set of cougar tracks.
This particular 5-pointer, I saw him 2 times for sure, and I actually think I saw him 3 days in a row. I think he was the buck that went way across the top of the corner the one day. So far away you really couldn't shoot. Here's a trail cam video of this 5-point that I've been seeing, and you can see why I've been passing him up. He's just a young deer. Gonna be a good deer in a couple of years. So I had to work the 15th and 16th, which completely sucked. And so when I came back out on the 17th, I go to a completely different area. And you can see here on my left is a bedding area, cut block over here, and then this bush trail that winds. There's deer tracks everywhere in here. This first time I've been in here on this particular trail, and it's a friggin' deer honey hole. You see this trail going on up here, and this trail just meanders. There's a big island of bush here with cut blocks all around it. It's prime deer feeding area and bedding all along it, and the deer were just traveling everywhere in here. So now it's the morning of November 18. I've come back into the same trail, and I'm just sitting here first thing in the morning. The sun's just coming up over the horizon there. Beautiful morning. Minus 13 or something this morning, so it was. And I'm just sitting here hoping for a little bit of luck, and what do you know here? The next thing that's going to happen is a doe's going to poke her head out. Fate. But at first it didn't seem that good. You'll see here in a second, as soon as this sequence ends, you'll see right across from me, all of a sudden there's a doe coming out. And when I grab the camera to try to film her, I spook her. And when she runs away, I clearly saw a fawn in the bush behind her, and I thought I saw a third larger deer, and I thought I saw a flash of antler, and I was just, oh darn it, I buggered up again, you know. If I'd have waited, you know, if I hadn't bothered with the camera, who knows, the doe and the buck might have walked right out in front of me. And where she came out, she was just 20 yards from me, right? She was so close, which is, you know, why I probably shouldn't even have tried filming her. Should have just waited. But that's how it goes. So now I've moved only about 150 yards from where I saw the doe. When you look back this way, back to that corner, that's kind of where she was coming out, was right back in that corner, just past that grass patch you see. And I've got about a 200-yard shot this way. 150 yards back the other way. It's just a perfect spot to sit and ambush a deer. I was sitting in my perfect spot, and about 25 after 11, I just decided to get up and go for a walk. And I'm walking back towards the direction where I'd come in, and all of a sudden I saw a buck. I dropped to one knee, turned on the camera right away that's mounted on my rifle scope, and this buck was walking right towards me. And he's got the weirdest rack. He had a normal right side. His left side was just a non-typical kind of club that went straight up, and I right away decided to pass on this deer. Just let him come toward me, and he was actually starting to trot when he finally saw me. He was like 30 yards away maybe, and he spun around and he was bounding off into the cut block. And what I didn't realize, that in that cut block was the doe and the fawn and the buck that I had seen at 9 o'clock. And when he ran in there, he spooked them, and they go running off. And so when I come into the cut block, the doe and the buck and the fawn, they go bounding up across the cut block, and they go up over a hill. And I mean, I didn't have a shot. It was just boom, here's these deer. And so what happens though, they went over the hill out of sight. I continued walking. And the next thing you know, I'm past kind of where I can see up to the edge of the hill, and the buck, he turns and comes back up on the hill, and I look over and there he is. So right here I see the buck standing there, and I think that's a good buck. I'm going to take him. I didn't grab my binoculars, and I didn't try to field judge him and decide that, that he's a monster, or he's this or he's that. He was a good looking deer. But he's 250 yards away, and so you barely see him there. Now when I aim the gun, there's a dark spot just to the left of that spruce. That's the deer. And I didn't know at the time, but here's a closer shot. As soon as I fired, he went down in his tracks. Boom, disappeared. Anyways, so after my shot, I didn't know if I'd hit him. The deer just disappeared, and of course you see from that closer shot that he went down right in his tracks. And yeah, I walked over there, and he was stone dead. He went straight down. And now here's, of course, we're getting into the interesting part. When I saw this deer, all I knew, this was a good looking deer. And it turns out it's the cheater buck. It's one of the bucks that I was focused on all summer. I had videos and pictures of them throughout the summer. Now where we are in this situation, I'm 2 miles from where I got the majority of the pictures and video of them.
Darn it. I'm not sure if I hit that buck or not. But there was a doe, a fawn, and a nice buck. I bumped them over here on the trail. They ran up across that cut block. And the buck was still standing there, and he was looking back where I was when I spooked him. Well, I'm going to have to take a walk in there, see if he's there, see if I hit him. Okay, I peeled a lot off. That deer is straight across there toward the big spruce. When I fired, I couldn't tell if I hit him. I saw his tail. After the shot, his tail kind of flipped in the air a bit weird, and then he disappeared. So maybe I hit him and he fell. I'm gonna go see. Camera off. He's stone dead right here. Man, that was a fairly long shot across there. I guess I can still shoot. I don't know. I didn't bother to judge this buck. He was with a doe. He looked pretty tall. I thought he's a big enough buck.
So as soon as I reached down here and grabbed this antler, I saw that nubbins there in front of his G2, and I was like, that looks familiar. I honestly, at this point, I don't realize that this is cheater. I didn't realize it. But when you look at this deer, the pictures, and you look at the pictures, the summer pictures that I had of him, his left brow tine, both of his brow tines kind of lay out to the side, kind of a funny angle. His left one's quite distinctive, and then that cheater point, you can't mistake it. And so when you look at the pictures of this deer along with the ones from the summer, unmistakable. This is the cheater buck, and you're pretty darn a nice little buck, really. And of course, you know, the good news, 2023. I already have I'm getting a backlog of deer that I got to go after, but I can guarantee you I'm going to scout this area hard over between now and next hunting season. I got a whole bunch of new places to explore here, branching out from where I shot this deer, you know, getting further up in that trail system, going through these old cut blocks. And I'll be looking for that G2 sticker buck. I'm still obviously always hoping for the tank, and who knows what other giants are wandering in this country. That when you're in Alberta, every deer that walks out could be the next world record. Well, this guy certainly is not a world record, but he's a pretty nice buck. I'm not going to complain, I'll tell you. So this is going to be the conclusion of Alberta Whitetail 2022, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this little bit, and hope you were entertained at least a little. Later, folks.